You live on the southwest corner of 94th and West End?
Yes, madame.
Don't you walk a giant schnauzer?
He had to be put to sleep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, madame.
You know that building, Marty, where Amy and Alex live.
My, what a small world.
Isn't it, madame?
I just knew I knew you from somewhere. Now whenever we visit Amy and Alex, I'll think of this marvelous dinner.
That will be all, Honoré.
Marty, I hope you carry insurance on Rebecca.
Well, how much do you think I ought to insure it for?
Well, whatever the appraiser says it's worth. But remember that appraisals for insurance purposes tend to be double the actual market value.
Yes, that is true.
1/2 the actual number of voice lessons.
Oh, I was told I ought to get it varnished.
Oh, don't you dare!
Well, that was just a thought.
One worth putting aside. The dinner is delicious, my dear.
Did you cook it?
Well, yes, dear.
I just assumed that Honoré cooked it for you.
Cooking is my special talent. Last year, I spent 3 months in Paris studying with the great chef Paul Prunier.
I have to apologize. You are a wonderful cook.
Well, you're new to the family, and we haven't seen much of Martin these past few years.
Well, now all that'll change. Weekends at Brockport and Princeton.
Marty's mother, may she rest in peace, could be difficult.
I can imagine, yes. My mother knew how to be difficult. I propose a toast to our ancestors. They knew how to be difficult, but they had the stuff that binds a family together.
To our ancestors.
Our ancestors.
Until I met Marty, I didn't realize that there were Jews living in this country 200 years ago. You're still Jewish, aren't you?
We just don't make a big thing out of it, dear. It's not the sort of thing you want to let people know.
Yet you have such a great interest in Judaica.
Judaica?
She means the portraits, Helen.
Oh, how silly of me. Of course. You know, I actually forgot. They are just important Americans to me. How in the world did we get onto this subject anyway?
Oh, we were discussing tradition. Alyssa's family is very traditional.
Oh, at Christmas time, do they have a Hanukkah bush?
Really, Agnes?
My great-grandfather was known as the Singing Rabbi, a very pious man. We have a portrait of him with a long white beard. It came from Russia.
How utterly fascinating. And I suppose you inherited your musical talent from him, too?
Do your parents eat Jewish food?
Oh.
You mean keep kosher?
Yes, yes.
Alyssa and I are mingling the traditions. It's good for the blood. Oh, and Sal agrees. You know, I'm sitting here thinking, it's such a good story about Rebecca, Sal, and Simon. A real tearjerker. Maybe I'll turn it into a musical.
Oh, for God's sake.
It would make a great opera.
More money in a musical.
Well, that's true.
Well, now, Toddy, that might be a worthy investment for you. Fancy yourself as a motivating force behind one of the century's greatest hits. I think the art market is too fickle.
Spend your own money, Henry. Well, it seems we have all finished. I'll ring for Honoré to clear up for the next course.
Oh, just think. A play about America's first Jews. Hey, everybody now, huh? Tradition! Tradition, huh? Yeah, can you imagine the suburbanites pouring in by bus? Tradition! Tradition! Train and car, a billboard on every stop of the Long Island Railroad and all 3 Westchester lines, and on the back of every bus, tradition! Tradition! Toddy, you would give interviews in all the newspapers. Our way is the American way.
Does he always get carried away like this?
He has great dedication. Oh, sweetheart, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Yeah, we could hang the portraits together in the lobby of the Schubert on opening night. Cordoned off by a velvet rope and guarded, of course. The real stars of the show, the original Rebecca Saul and Simon. People coming out from the theater and shedding tears. A story that touches the hearts of all Americans. Long-lost relatives calling us and writing us with so much memorabilia that we would have to open a museum just to hold it all. And me, a writer and director. At last, finding my roots.
Fascinating, really.
Hear the music in my head.
Mine is splitting open.
Oh, when the brothers left the portraits to their descendants, they were leaving a greater fortune than anyone ever imagined. Now, can I count on your contribution, cousins, to get this project off the ground as soon as possible?
You and your big ideas. He's more attached to that stupid painting than ever.
So it seems.
Now, how much money would it take to get such a project off the ground?
$50,000 and I could develop the book.
Well, for Rebecca, you'd already have 30. Think about it.
Henry, what are you letting him do? Henry, he's offering him 30.
For the Punim.
It's a Gilbert Stuart.
Thomas Sully.
Okay, 35. I'm going to offer you $35,000.
If our young cousin is going to sell.
Now, remember, it's 3 for the price of 1, Henry. Don't forget what we agreed.
Oh, yes.
What does he mean?
He's forcing me to top his price. 40. You started this, Agnes.
Well, you can't top that. Didn't he get that silver creamer? And yes, Helen helped herself to the Tiffany finger bowls.
How dare you? Mother had already given me 2 of them for our 5th anniversary. It was only natural that the set remained together. She would have wanted it that way.
I'll give him 50. That creamer turned out to be worthless. You manipulated that, Henry. You never wanted the thing in the first place.
You just wanted to make Toddy look petty. And that's your tact, Henry. You're doing it right now. It's despicable, really. That's how you've always gotten what you wanted. Like that Simon in your portrait. You play the sensitive one, and Mama and Grandma could never see it for beans. How unbearable. The things you did to Toddy.
Are you going to let them accuse you of such nonsense? And if he didn't get his fair fat share?
Ah, the memories we all take to the grave with us.
Why is it that in the history of this family, whenever we've gotten anything, they suggest we had no right to it?
Because, frankly, Mother tolerated you, Agnes. You weren't really what she wanted for Henry, her most beloved. I've been waiting years to say it to your face.
Hey, oh, stick with me, baby.
This does not concern you, Marty.
I think we ought to leave, Henry.
And not get what you came for? Be my guest.
I, unfortunately, am.
That's enough, Helen.
Just for that, I'm going to 55.
And there I have to rest.
And I rest at 60. Now, what do you say, Finkelstein? Are you going to sell Rebecca to me?
Well, what if after I've spent the money on the show, you find out the portrait's fake?
I'm not worried. It's an authentic Sully, all right. It certainly was when your mother and I discussed it.
Well, it's up to Alyssa. Alyssa, you make the final decision.
So, Marty, do your show.
Good. I'll get my checkbook. Can you deliver tomorrow?
Delivery tomorrow.
And you, brother?
What did you do, Henry?
He won ours, too, fair and square.
Fair and square. I'll be right back.
You doddering idiot, Henry.
Coffee, everyone?
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm going to need all the caffeine I can get to write the show.
Well, then I'll be right back, too. I don't believe Honoré heard that bell over all the brouhaha.
Henry, how could you?
I could. I needed to set a few things right in my old age.
You damned fool. Why are you grinning like that? He made you feel guilty. Can't you see it? He always did that to you.
Marty, should I explain or will you?
Well, somebody better. One doesn't just wager a family heirloom as a joke.
You see, Cousin Agnes, when my mother was ill and needed money, she did try to sell the portrait. She had too much pride to sell it to Toddy.
Well, why didn't you buy it, Henry?
He spent his money paying my mother's doctor's bills.
We already have a portrait. Eugenia asked me to arrange a sale with a noted portrait dealer. I'm afraid he already owned the original. In fact, all 3 originals. Grandma had very good copies made when she sold them years ago.
Oh, you mean you knew this entire evening that the portraits are fakes?
I've known for several years. I'm looking forward to this new musical, son.
Well, here we are. As agreed, a check in the sum of $60,000 for your portrait of Rebecca, and Henry, your portrait of Simon.
Honoré, please pour the coffee. Pastries, everybody? Toddy, pour us all a brandy.
Madame Elissa, it is your lucky day, no?
I'll say. Do giant schnauzers eat a lot?
Agnes, stick with me, baby.
You've been listening to The Portrait by Sarah Levine Simon. Our cast yesterday and today included Barbara Costigan, Stephen Perlman, Cara Duff McCormick, Rex Robbins, Nicole Sologi, Tricia Curran, and Roger Hendrick Simon. Directed and produced by Roger Hendrick Simon for the Simon Studio and Westfest Productions. Our associate producer is Mildred Purdy. Special effects, sound effects by Jeff Ward. For further information about the Simon Studios productions and upcoming training for actors, directors, and playwrights at workshops, please call us at 724-7554. We invite you to join us again tomorrow and on Thursday from 4 to 4:30 on WBAI for the continuation of our radio theater series. Tomorrow, we give you the play The Exquisite Dimensions of Lydia by playwright Jack Cornwall. And on Thursday, we conclude our first 4 with the play by Lewis Phillips, The Man Who Ate Einstein's Brain. Please tune in then, and everyone have a great day. Goodbye, all.